Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video will have two parts. The first part, I want to address the murder of Charlie Kirk, who many of you are familiar with, know exactly who he was, and my opinion about it. Of course, this is a very sensitive topic. However, I hope I will give you some food for thought as far as doing your own research and maybe asking this kind of questions that I have in my mind at this moment. So we will start with this. Then we will go to the update about the drone situation in Poland. And I will show you images of, well, I will show you the areas in which allegedly those drones were landing, as well as I will bring to you some official statements from the Polish government. And I also will address, let me see what else I have. Yeah, and I will address the UN meeting in regards to those drones. So let's start with this tragedy that took place yesterday in the state of Utah. I will start with TASS. Then we go to Candace Owen, and something that really got me thinking about this situation. So let's first go to the official article from TASS, actually. In brief, what we know about the murder of US activist Charlie Kirk, FBI Director Kash Patel reported that the investigation continues and promised to provide updates on its progress. Many of you know that Charlie Kirk was, I think he was the creator. I'm not sure if he was the creator, I think he was, but he was running the Turning Point organization movement, and Candace Owen was actually, they were very close friends. And he was very much talking about faith and conservative values, and he helped actually a lot as far as educating the public and having those debates in many campuses and universities in the United States with people that had different opinions, and he was challenging them to have a conversation with him and bring their points so they can have a discussion. They can have a dialogue about what is the truth, what is right. And that was actually something very healthy to do, in my opinion. But here is this article, Washington, September 11th, and we will go to this date. Yes, I know, today is 9/11. US conservative activist Charlie Kirk died after being shot in Utah, US President Donald Trump said. TASS has compiled the main information about the incident. So, circumstances of murder. According to media reports, Kirk was shot on Wednesday, that was yesterday, while delivering a speech at the university in Orem, Utah. He died in the hospital from his injuries. The activist, who was a Trump supporter, had repeatedly spoken out against US military aid to Ukraine. Utah Public Safety Department spokesman Bo Mason said the shot that killed Kirk was most likely fired from the roof of a building on the university campus. Arrest of suspect. FBI Director Kash Patel announced the arrest of suspect in Kirk's murder. He later reported that the man who had been taken into custody had been released after an interrogation by law enforcement. Patel noted that the investigation continues and promised to provide updates on its progress. Security measures. Several police cars have been stationed near the White House following Kirk's murder. However, there is no large-scale cordon in this area of the US Capitol, a TASS correspondent reported from the scene. So, reaction, I'm going to bring you. So let's leave this here. Now, few points before we go to Candace Owen, that I feel it's a very interesting direction to follow. as far as what is the truth, who could be behind it. I tell you my first instinct that comes to me. Well, when he was actually still in hospital and I look at his picture, I actually felt that he's not gonna make it. I don't know, it's just my intuition thing. Unfortunately, that came to be true. Now, my first thought was, we have 9/11 today, so we have another sacrifice, and you know what I'm talking about. Many of you are aware of how those satanic, demonic beings operate. And yes, I believe that the good God is winning this, but we still have some forces that will not go down easily. How to put it? It's not over yet, right? So 9/11 is today. He was killed yesterday. To me, this is clearly, obviously, besides the statement that it has made, it's a sacrifice. Some people say that Jesus Christ, just hear me out here, without any judgment for a moment, please. That Jesus was born in September. That's why the whole 9/11, they have chosen those dates. There is a lot of significance behind it, okay? I'm not talking about controlled demolition of the Twin Towers. I'm talking about the date at this moment. So today we have the anniversary of this. Charlie Kirk was killed yesterday. So first, let's look into this September month. I just literally Google it. And when I did, that's what I found out, which is not surprise to me because I put September, month of sacrifice. That's what I put out. And here it says this. I know I have some viewers who are coming from Islamic regions, and that's your religion. So you're very, very welcome to leave in the comments what you think. So that's what AI tells you when you put September month of sacrifice. September month of sacrifice can refer to Eid al-Adha or Adha, an Islamic holiday celebrating Abraham's willingness to sacrifice his son, or to the Catholic devotion of Our Lady of Sorrows, honoring Mary's suffering and sacrifice. In general sense, some Christian groups also declare September a time for personal growth and discipline through sacrifice, while others reflect on themes of spiritual harvest, service, or the sacrifice of soldiers and first responders. So you make out of this whatever you want to make out of it. I was doing a little bit more research as far as the Roman Empire goes, because even here it says something about it. But we're going to leave it here for a moment. I'm sure a lot of evidence will be coming out. So now let's go to Candace Owen. And that's what I've done, actually, because I knew that they were very close. She was very close with Charlie Kirk. So now let's go to her Instagram, and I will read you because I took a snapshot of several of those pictures. Let me show you what's up with this, so you will understand my way of thinking, everyone. We go to her Instagram. She didn't put out a video yet. I'm sure it's going to come today or tomorrow, and I will be watching this carefully because she is I'm not saying I'm a huge fan of hers, but I appreciate her work very much. And I know some people say that she's not as nice, etc. It's not the point. She's pretty good investigator, especially in the case of this one right here, Macron, or actually his husband, right? Or father, who knows. Anyway, we go to her stories. So when you click on her profile, she was saying, everyone please pray for Charlie Kirk. And there are some informations here. She's asking people to email her if anyone was there. And here appears the first snapshot. Someone said something here, and that's what I'm going to read you now, because I cannot stop that. If you go to her Instagram, you can look it up yourself. It's still visible there for some time, certain amount. I think it's about 24 hours that stories are visible. So this first person says this. Someone says, a private jet under the tail number, and here is this number, N888, 3 times 8, kg, like kilograms, kg, left Provo Airport an hour after the shooting. Suspiciously, 30 minutes into the flight, it drops off of ADS-B illegally and reappears, headed back to Provo approximately an hour later. Why did this plane turn off its radar? Where is the shooter? So here you can go on the stories and you will see there is an image right here. Actually, I'm going to show you this snapshot. You see there is a plane and there is a map. Someone was following this. Now, it seems like there was a plane, if this is legit story, that was waiting at the airport nearby. That plane left just after the incident, and then no radar, so you cannot track it. So where was it going? Suspiciously. And then it went back to the same airport. And then someone says here, private jet pilot here. Although that can be true for small planes as far as turning off the radar, right? The signalization at low altitude. At any altitude, jets would fly at your 100% going to have ADS-B coverage. They shut the transporter off in response to this post. So this is very suspicious. I'm not saying anything. And, it's not the point to accuse people because some people charter, I think that's how you say it, like they rent out those planes for a certain period of time. So they pay for it. They are not the owners. The company owns it or someone else, and they just lend it. I mean, they pay for it and they use it for some time. But this is a very interesting, in my opinion, plot to follow. So follow that. My personal opinion from the satanic standpoint they operate from is this was a form of sacrifice, and there was one more aspect to it. The story about this black man who killed that Ukrainian model on the train or some other transportation vehicle, that looks also very suspicious to me, and I'm not buying this story. And I know some of you probably will feel offended. I think it's another attempt to create disruption and the inner war, the civil war. They're still trying. That didn't go as well as they were hoping it will go to, in my opinion. So now they had to create something more drastic, more really, really effective. And that's how I look at it. I want to take you now to President Trump, and then I want to take you to Charlie Kirk wife. And this is from me, someone who never met this person, someone who never attended any of those conferences of Turning Point USA. I just want to put a little bit out of my sympathy and love and support to his wife and his children. But let's go to Trump first, okay? Let's take a listen what President Trump had to say about that.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight, all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family, who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died, the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory. May God watch over his family. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
So that was President Trump. I had one more thought about it, and you might call me crazy, or you might think I just have a lot of resentment, or I'm just being really sensitive to a certain nation. But I have this feeling that it could be, might be very wrong, of course. Maybe that was a Ukrainian person who did it. I wouldn't be surprised. I also feel that there is this investigation that will go, and they're gonna find the person, identify the person. But it's gonna lead them to very, very powerful people. And that will open another Pandora's box. And I think we will be facing another situation that will be created in order to silence the discovery that they will make. That's how I'm feeling about it. Now, I want to, like I said, give a little tribute to him and show you 2 videos from his wife Instagram that they are very beautiful, and they really summarize, in my opinion, the love and the energy of that family. And I decided to play 2 videos. The first one is, you will see him and his family, and the second one is about the future of the family. That's how I see it. And in this case, the future of the boy, the younger child he had, his son. So let's take a look. Let's embrace this moment, put out some really loving energy. No one should suffer. No one should be in the position like this family is. Doesn't matter how much influence you have. This was a very young man, I think 31 years old, if I'm not mistaken, with his age. The family was beautiful, and there was such a bright future ahead of this family. And you know, when you have parents, no parents are perfect, but when you have family that stays together and is loving, it's especially hard when you lose one of your parents. So let's take a look, and then we go to a different topic, everyone.
What if childhood could hold eternity? So I don't waste the hours. I pour the word like oil over your head. I speak Jesus when you sleep, and I remind the enemy, he belongs to the king. You're not just my son. You're a seed in the battlefield. You're a soldier in the making, a defender of beauty, a man being made in the mold of the carpenter. I do not raise you to be liked. I raise you to be holy. I don't raise you for this world, and so I don't waste the hours. I pour the word like oil over your head. I speak.
I don't raise you for this world. It's interesting when she said it over her son, because that was lately something that was going through my mind a lot. That we are in this world, but we are not of this world. I know many of you feel the same way, watching what's going on and how all the darkness is now coming up to the surface and becoming more and more visible to us. I think it was always there. We were not just aware of how bad, how evil things really were. Now, when you shake it up, when you want to remove this parasite out of the system, you're gonna see more and more. And now, since Charlie was silenced, because they want to silence people, we have the same situation in Poland. Polish government doesn't want people to talk about those drones in a certain way. But I will bring this to you at the end of this video, what exactly Polish government is saying to anyone on social media. But we're gonna start again with TASS. So let's start with TASS. Because Poland to convene UN Security Council. This is from today, September 11th. The date of the meeting has not been specified, but a diplomatic source previously told TASS that it might take place on Friday, September 12th, that is tomorrow. An emergency meeting of the UN Security Council will be convened, I think I said this word correctly, at Poland's request, the foreign ministry reported. Following Poland's request, the UN Security Council emergency meeting will be convened regarding the violation of Polish airspace. The ministry wrote in a statement on its X page. So just you know, the foreign ministry, who is the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Poland, Radosław Sikorski. You remember, thank you, USA, an Applebaum wife, and someone who recently had a lot of issues with our new president, Karol Nawrocki. The diplomats also alleged that Russia violated Polish airspace. The date of the meeting has not been specified, but a diplomatic source previously told us that it might take place on Friday, September 12th. Now here is a little summary from TASS. Early on September 10th, so that was yesterday, the Polish Army Operational Command announced the destruction of several objects identified as drones after they violated the country's airspace. A search is currently underway for the downed objects. Tusk, this is Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk, said that the country's airspace was violated 19 times in the early morning hours of September 10. He alleged that all of the drones entered the country from Belarus. So far, 3 drones have been reported. Poland has asked NATO to invoke Article 4 of the North Atlantic Treaty to invoke consultation among the alliance's member states. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, the Russian armed forces attacked Ukrainian military and industrial facilities in western Ukraine overnight. No targets in Poland were planned. The range of the drones that allegedly crossed the border with Poland does not exceed 700 kilometers. Nevertheless, the Russian Defense Ministry said it is ready to consult with Poland on this matter. So now, let's look at two maps. The first map is going to show us, that's what they show us. Is this true or not? I don't know. Where allegedly those drones were landing in Poland. So here is the map of Poland. This is not entire map of Poland, so just give you an idea. You have Warsaw right here. Here is Gdańsk. So here is the Baltic coast. So you see right here I'm showing. And then you also have Kraków. Where is Kraków? Kraków is below. Anyway, this is the east border of Poland. And here it says the places in which those drones were found and what distance they went from the eastern border. So you see those red dots. So here is the border. You see the city Białystok where I'm circling. Here is the borderline. All those dots allegedly were those drones landed. Okay, and this one even went that far. I mean, I don't know. Okay, here is Kraków, you see right here. By the way, here is Ukraine. So you have those drones. Let me know what you think. I cannot tell you what I think because Polish government just made an official announcement. So I will read this to you in a second. Now, the second map, everyone, is from yesterday. This is the map that Polish people were able to see. One second. Okay, here we go. This map was circulating yesterday on the social media and in the media as well. So on Wednesday, September 10th at 5 a.m., Wojsko Ochrony Terytorialnej. So this is the army, the soldiers of protection of the territory. I'm just free translation here, okay? Command. So this is like the border security. How you say it in English? I don't know. I'm not a military expert. Anyway, those soldiers that protect the border announced an alert for territorial defense brigades. So here is the map of Poland. The red color tells you in what time you have to be in alert to be called, just in case, right? So this is, if you're a soldier, to all those brigades of the territorial defense, how much time you need when you're called to get there, to support, to protect, etc. The red one is up to 6 hours. The yellow one, so this part right here, you see, is up to 12. And the green one, or actually I'm like right here, by the way, when you see this is where I am. It's not planned. So the green one is like good, no stress. The yellow one, 12, and this one, 6. This was the map that was circulating. And now, last but definitely not least, let me take you to the website of Polish government. And I'm gonna read you a big part of it, because that's why I would like to express my opinion through your comments. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Otherwise, I don't know how long I will exist here. So on the platform, I mean, on the platform. Okay, this is from the official site of Polish government, gov.pl. Be aware of disinformation related to the violation of Polish airspace by drones. Yesterday, 10th of September this year, a meeting of the Joint Cybersecurity Operations Center, representatives of all services involved in the protection of cyberspace, was held in an extraordinary mode. Currently, due to the violation of Polish airspace by drones, all services operating in the field of cyberspace protection are operating in a state of increased readiness. They monitor the situation, in particular with regards to the safety of critical infrastructure operations. Let's focus on this part. This information campaign coordinated with drones. Since the morning, increased disinformation activity carried out by Russian and Belarusian services has also been identified. It is primarily intended to redirect responsibility for the violation of Polish airspace to the Ukrainian side and to discredit the actions taken by the Polish army and services responsible for security. This is highlighted, so this is mucho importante. Everyone should be especially careful about information appearing in public space, especially in social media. Each time, it is necessary to verify the sources of information and not to share materials from unverified sources. Polish security services provide verified, I cannot comment, and confirmed information to the public on ongoing basis. So now, what is the disinformation? How many points we have? I'm going to read you the whole thing, guys, because those are the 8 crucial points. Let's read this. The main narrative lines of disinformation identified by the NASC, which is Disinformation Analysis Center. Number 1, the state, so this is the first disinformation, disinformation as the Polish government says. The state does not warn citizens about the threat. It is suggested that the authorities do not warn citizens about the threat resulting from the violation of Polish airspace. In selected mentions, it was claimed that the government and the media were asleep and did not provide information for many hours. This is all disinformation, FYI. Number 2, Ukrainians are dragging Poland into the war. This is a Ukrainian provocation. So this is disinformation here. There are reports suggesting that Ukraine is responsible for the violation of Polish airspace by drones. Directing drones towards Polish is supposed to be a way to drag out country into a war with Russia. The actors of this information focus on the aspect related to the allegedly deliberate failure of the armed forces of Ukraine to shut down objects when they were over Ukrainian airspace. Number 3, the Polish army is not prepared to defend the country. There are messages suggesting that the Polish army is not prepared to defend the country. Some of the reports also claimed that only 2 drones were shut down, which was reported as a weakness of the state. Number 4, the government wants to shift the responsibility for the country's defense to NATO. There have been reports about the possible activation of Article 4 of NATO. The reports have been used by disinformation actors to create a narrative about an attempt to shift the responsibility for the country's defense to the North Atlantic Alliance. Number 5, Russia is not responsible for the attack because it has no interest in it. It is suggested that Russia is not responsible for the violation of Polish airspace because as a result of launching drones towards Polish, the country would not benefit from any benefits. Number 6, the destruction of drones by the Polish army is a weakening of defense capabilities. It is suggested that the destruction of drones by the Polish military aviation will cause a shortage of armaments and thus weaken the country's defense capabilities. Number 7, Poland is at war with Russia. There are posts suggesting that the crossing of Polish airspace by Russian drones proves that Poland is at war with Russia. Statements of this type can cause panic in society. Number 8, last but not least, Ukrainians are taking revenge on Poles for Karol Nawrocki's statement that Poland will not send troops to the war zone. The Ukrainians allegedly launched drones towards Polish. This is supposed to be a form of revenge for the statement of President Karol Nawrocki, who informed that Poland rules out sending troops to Ukraine. I'm going to attach this link down below in the description box and cannot just say what I can say. Even if I would try my best, I would never be able to summarize the situation exactly like this. So that's all I have for you today, everyone. Let's not freak out, because we know the stories, and that's what they want. Fear, 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 suck the energy, create havoc, or kavok, how you say, chaos. And anyway, you know what I want to say. Great summary, right? Thank you so much for watching. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And to everyone who wants to support my work, you can become my Patreon, local supporter, or donate on PayPal. You can also follow me on Instagram. It's AniaK_44. With this being said, guys, all the links will be down below in the description box. Let me know your thoughts. You know what I think. Lots of love. And remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. And I see you probably tomorrow in another video. Bye, guys.